Number 15 ranked Cody Stamann versus number 25 ranked Said Nurmagomedov, man, in the bantamweight division. Believe it or not, Cody Stamann is a plus 170 underdog with a minus 200 comeback for Said Nurmagomedov. What do you make of that off of the bat? When we're looking at styles, you have a very flashy striker who has some pretty good takedown defense against a dude who's going to be in your face the entire fight, looking for takedowns the entire fight. So on paper, you'd imagine the wrestler would have the advantage, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Some people think Said is the real deal. What do you make of those odds, brother?
Man, I was not expecting this one, to be honest with you, Derek. I definitely had this one a little bit closer, that 110 range, because I feel like the power or the pressure wrestling that Stamann has against a kicker, when all you got to do is catch one kick and then you take him down, it makes for, on paper, I was expecting Stamann to be a lot closer than this, to be honest with you, man. Maybe that Nurmagomedov name is just playing a little bit of biasy in the press, and that's what they're thinking. Because Said is really good in the ground game. He does have good grappling, excuse me. But his kicks and his flashy striking are his bread and butter. So when you have somebody who's consistently trying to spin and throw those spinning attacks, while you have the other person in Cody Stamann trying to advance forward and consistently, no matter what, always on that gas pedal. We saw this dude basically hold his own against the machine, man, in a cardio contest. Sure, he got tossed around in the second, but he was still there for the third, man. That cardio held strong. And if he's able to do that against Said Nurmagomedov, excuse me, I thought these were going to be a little bit closer, to be honest with you, man. What do you think?
Yeah, this is one of those instances where I definitely think that the name is kind of propelling the odds on this one and the buzz on this fight, because when we're looking at it, I mean, I've even seen some people comment. They're like, do people really think that Nurmagomedov is going to be able to keep Stamann off of him for all 3 rounds? Like, the only way he can do that is with those kicks, right? Because here's the thing. Nurmagomedov, great striker, man. I'm talking about a legitimately great striker. He can strike moving forward. He can strike moving backwards. Everything has a spin locked in, ready to go. So whether it's a spinning body kick, whether it is a spinning back fist counter shot, those are the things that Stamann has to be really careful of. And he actually noted this on that UFC Unfiltered podcast, where he was talking, he was basically saying that Saeed's going to be very long in this cage. Obviously, it's a bigger cage over there in Anaheim where they're fighting, right? But he's going to be very long, and every time that Stamann enters, because it's going to be predictable. The wrestler wants to shoot, wants to close the distance. Nurmagomedov is going to have some counter ready with some type of spinning attack. And what's interesting is that Nurmagomedov can throw a spinning back fist and then a question mark kick, all in the span of like a second. You know what I mean? Like, he has that level of dexterity, which is very, very impressive. But I think, AJ, what it comes down to in this fight is that when you're a Nurmagomedov, when your game is predicated on these spins, predicated on these explosive attacks, well, if you crush that space and you smother the kicks, we can see a little bit of what we saw against Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze. Take away the kicks from the kicker, make him a boxer, and then see where you can go from there. And with that being said, Stamann doesn't even want to really box with the man. He wants to take him down and beat his face in, right? Because Stamann on the feet, he's good on the feet, but really everything is a big setup for that big right hand. Looking for the right hand, close the distance, get the double leg, get the takedown, massive wrestling sprawls. Listen, if he could weaponize the cardio against a Nurmagomedov, it would be impressive. But what are some paths to victory for a Said Nurmagomedov? How can he keep this fight standing, in your opinion?
Man, he has to utilize that footwork, man. He has to be going side to side, dipping in and out, utilizing the spin to get off that center line and get away from the path of that boulder. Because Cody Stamann has one mode, man. Go forward, attack. Even if he doesn't get the takedown, he's going to stay close to you so he can start swinging some bombs left and right. That's really Stamann's biggest thing, man, is he's all about that pressure. And if Said is able to get off that center line, start moving laterally, use those kicks, use that kind of Olay style to kind of get Stamann off his game and then throw some spinning attacks. Because I do agree, man. Cody Stamann's going to be in the pocket the entire time. Said may not be able to get the spinning back fist, but he has a very dirty spinning elbow that can utilize that closer range. And if he can find those closer range attacks, the knees and the elbows, I think that's going to be his way to victory on this one, man. Get the respect of Cody Stamann, hurt him early, hurt him fast, and then keep that pressure on. And don't let him get grabbed, or don't let Cody Stamann grab you, excuse me. So that way he can still maintain that distance. That's going to be the best way for Said to get things done. And like I said, man, utilize that lateral movement. If he can stay lateral and not get grabbed, not get put against the fence, hurt Cody Stamann, I think that's the path to victory. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a very good game plan that you're talking about right there. And if he can implement it, I think it would be good. The only problem that I see with this logic is that if this fight plays out the way that we're both envisioning it, Nurmagomedov is going to be on the back foot the whole fight, and that's going to get you tired. And after a while, man, are you going to have the same pop on those spinning shots? Are you going to telegraph those spinning shots a little bit more, right? I do think Cody Stamann is going to have to be really careful for the first round, maybe round and a half, but he's going to have to start really taking it over, digging in for those takedowns after that to be able to finish off the fight. It's going to be interesting just because Nurmagomedov truly is the longer fighter. When we're talking about reach, 70 inches to 64 inches in favor of Nurmagomedov. Man, so that's a big reach advantage, and generally speaking, I would take those long reach guys in a fight like this, but I just think that people are underrating Cody Stamann beyond belief in this. I don't know if it's because he has 2 losses in his last fights. I mean, he took the Rivera fight on short notice. He even said it himself. He's like, I shouldn't have taken that fight. I should have took a little more time. Did kind of the company man move. The fight against the machine. AJ, can you blame anybody for losing a great cardio pace battle against Merab Dvalishvili, who was arguably one of the best to do it in the division?
Not even close, Derek. And like I said, he matched the machine pretty as close as we've seen anyone do it in that cardio output.
Yeah.
But I mean, Merab is named the machine for a reason, bro. This dude has no give.
Absolutely. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we kind of give our picks for this matchup, AJ, is do you remember the Cody Stamann fight against Song Yadong? Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that that's very similar to how this fight probably would play out. When we're looking at a speedy dude who Nurmagomedov is very fast, so is Song Yadong. Stamann, he freezes up a little bit. He kind of tends to turn into a counter striker. But if he could still stay aggressive and work for those takedowns, I think he can get the job done because he was able to negate a lot of the power and speed of a Song Yadong in that fight, which ultimately ended up being a draw. I think Cody Stamann should have won the fight personally, but Song Yadong, he did lose a point in the first round for illegally kneeing Stamann in his forehead. Did exactly what Jan did to Aljo, except, when they asked Cody Stamann, hey, man, you know what I mean? Do you need a doctor? He said, fuck no, man. Just give me my point. Let's go, And I was like, damn, listen, that's why you got to love a Cody Stamann because he is a game-bred fighter. Last thing, AJ, before we move on, I just wanted to take a look at this. For Saeed Nurmagomedov, man, if we're looking at his in his career, let me just zoom this in a little bit. Boom. There we go. Okay, when we're looking at his career, man, in the UFC, we have 4 fights, right? 3-1 in the UFC, and the one fight that stands out that he lost was against Raoni Barcelos, and this was a fight where Barcelos was able to take him down twice in that fight. So that's something of note. That's something that we need to take into account because if I remember correctly, the takedown happened like one solid one in the 3rd round. There might have been like one in the 2nd round that Nurmagomedov got up from really quickly, but the big one was in the 3rd round. So if you lose a fight where you're getting taken down, that's something of note. However, he did get taken down. No, actually, that's the only time he's been taken down is in that loss, man. So something to take into consideration, folks. However, in the other fights, I mean, look at it. Spinning back kick, against Ricardo Ramos. That was beautiful to see, man. It goes to show how much power he has in those spinning attacks. That first round KO against Mark Striegel, like I already noted, Striegel was looking to get the takedown. As soon as he entered distance, right there on the side of the head, right above the ear, a couple shots for the ground and pound, got him out of there, man. So impressive career thus far from Saeed Nurmagomedov, who is 14-2, but now it ultimately comes down to us, my man. Who are you picking, brother? You got Cody Stamann or do you got Saeed Nurmagomedov in this bantamweight contest?
Man, me personally, I'm going Saeed Nurmagomedov, and I'm going by decision, brother. Okay. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out fight with Saeed on the back foot the entire time. Cody Stamann pressing forward under the guys that Cody Stamann isn't able to get that takedown. Because I think that's the biggest thing about Cody Stamann, man. He's going to be all pressure, all takedown heavy. And once he's able to get you there and hurt you, and even if you do get up, he's going to start throwing those bombs in the pocket. Dude is a very dangerous fighter, especially for a striker like Saeed. So if he's able to do that and able to get off and not be able to be taken down, I'm leaning towards Saeed Nurmagomedov on this fight. I think it's going to be a long one, man. I'm going by decision. What about you, Derek?
Well, since we're taking that logic, that's the approach that you want to take is like a long, drawn-out decision type fight. I got to rock with the Spartan, Cody Stamann, man. Like I said, I think he's been discounted a little bit too much, man. Yes, is he 5-3-1 in the UFC? Not the most impressive. Yes, is he 2-2-1 in his last 5? Don't even concern yourself with that stuff, man. Look at who he's fighting against. Look at who Saeed Nurmagomedov has been fighting against. No disrespect. I just think the caliber of fighters is a little bit higher for a Cody Stamann. I mean, he has fought the champ after all. And I mean, he got worked by the champ. But that's neither here nor there. Listen, Cody Stamann, man, I think that he has the tools to be able to negate some of the offensive attacks of a Saeed Nurmagomedov. And if you can keep him on the ground with his back on the ground and really test some of that Dagestani Sambo, I think that we can really then get a true picture and idea of just how good the wrestling of a Nurmagomedov is. Because AJ, man, listen, no disrespect, brother, but I do think that one thing that people are just kind of like putting on Nurmagomedov, and I think it's because of the name, is that he is this prodigy wrestler who can just wrestle with the best of them. We haven't seen it yet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying we haven't seen it in the big show yet. He has impressive takedown defense, especially in his fight against Raoni Barcelos, but Barcelos was ultimately able to get the takedown. I think Stamann will be able to do the same thing. I'm going decision win, Cody Stamann.